This is the weekend update. We have just a few things to go through here. I want to start off with the weekly candle to check out the weekly chart. Even though I'm bearish in the micro term, I just want to let you know that we're looking for a pullback, just a pullback, so we can get to much higher levels. Okay, very bullish in the long run, as long as we're facing momentum to the upside on the monthly and on the weekly, and we reset that daily. You know, we're just looking for much higher prices. So let's check this out right now. First, hit that subscribe button if you love this information. Hit the like. It helps us spread the word and spread the wealth. So let's get into it. Right here on the weekly, we have a, I don't know if you want to call it a cloud cover. There's some sort of indecision. It's not really saying much to me, but this more looks like a bull flag. Now, I'm not so bullish on that candle, and I'll show you why in the lower time frames. But right now, the MACD is facing kind of sideways, but still on the bullish side of the leader. We had the histograms getting kind of small, so we're getting kind of tight there. Moving on to the daily, that's where it's going to tell us just a little bit more of what's happening. Let's go to the expected move for the week. This is important because we had volatility down in this area as we bursted back to the upside of what I consider wave one. Volatility crushed immediately. So expansion leads to contraction, which leads to expansion. And what happened to the options expected move? This is for next week here. We were at somewhere 60, 67, oh, no, it's 53. 53 points here on this week. And we expanded for next week for the options expected move to 74 points. Now, I know that was a shortened week, but this wasn't that wide as well. I think that was 67. So let's keep an eye out for this. I do expect this to expand a little bit more. And why? Because the MACD, it's trying to cross back over right now. Came into a resistance. We'd really have to bounce on this gap up for next week for this to change its ways. We have a bearish divergence once again on the daily. We're against resistance. Everything's against us, even though the charts are bullish. I do see that we closed right under maybe 3 points under the 8 MA. So, you know, there's all these key contrarian indicators pointing to a lower level. So on the RSI, we have not been overbought, but we have not been overbought anywhere except this one small spot, and that's it's just about the area that we've had a pullback each and every time. So I do expect the same thing here. RSI is starting to point to the downside as well. Okay, enough on that chart. We'll put some trend lines on here. Trend is our friend. I wanted to show this in particular. I did show this last maybe last couple days or so. Also, that this is kind of what I'm looking at to be a replica of what's happening. This is wave one. We just want a wave two pullback. That wave two technically could pull back 100% to this candle here. But being so bullish, I don't think it's going to do that. We have a trend line. We have a channel support as well. Both lead to a certain thing. We have the 20 that coincides with the channel. We have the 50 that coincides with the trend line. You know, I don't see it going much further than that unless we're talking to fill the megaphone. That megaphone here, the megaphone bottom, you know, that would be really, really, I suppose, bearish, but, you know, still bullish in the long term, just looking for a higher low in the case of long-term trades. But now, to show you the similarities here, this one did make a just a small higher high on there. It was a divergent high. This doesn't necessarily look like that, but just in the fact that we came down on options expiration, you know, not too many shenanigans are going to happen, not too many big moves, just like this one here. But we just closed under there. I suppose if we gap down on Monday, which I do have puts, on each and every one of my accounts, holding overnight, over the weekend. This is what I'm kind of looking for after a gap down and go, gap and go. Now, if we gap up, whole different story. You know, I'm going to have to take those puts off, cover my shorts, and I have plenty of calls on. So I'm just basically putting on protection for my calls. So, all right. Now, let's go into some trade ideas that we had this morning. We'll fly through those real quick. We'll do that in a daily. No, wait. I almost forgot. Let's go to the 65-minute chart. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty over here. And with all these crazy lines on here, this is the wave one that we know is over here. And we started a bull flag or a channel. And what happened? We broke out of that channel and broke back down. That's a fake break. And what we're kind of eyeballing, let me put some circles on here so you can see, is a left shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder for a head and shoulder pattern. The neckline being at the 38.88. That's why I have the key level of 38.88 over here. If that breaks, whether it's overnight or on Monday, Sunday night, if we break that area, this is the measured move. That turquoise line, measured move is 38.09. That's a rough estimate, 38.10, 38.11. But that's a 50% retracement that it possibly can move down to, price can move down to. I didn't change the expected moves on this chart yet, so please ignore those if you're copying anything on this chart. We do have the MACD crossing over. The histograms are moving to the downside. I think we have much more to go on this. And our primary goal, or maybe the typical retracement for a wave 2 is 61.8%, which is the 37.74. That seems a long way down after being so bullish. It almost seems impossible, but it could happen quick. So if you see an acceleration, then we're coming down to this area. If you see just kind of a chop down like we've had this past week, then, you know what, maybe we just have a move to the 38.2, then to the upside. Either way, we will be throwing in some in-out spreads to the call side, to the upside for any charts that are looking really bullish as we move down, because we want to start to scale into our longs as we move down here with some time on it, 30 days, approximately 30 days out. Okay, now we can move over to some trade ideas. Lazr. Let me move on to daily just so we can get a little bit higher time frame. We're working the same pattern just as we thought. This could be a wave one. Most of these you're going to probably see a wave one of one happening before we actually break out to the upside. We had some great moves today, but they pulled back a little bit just because the momentum isn't turned that way. So you can't expect things to break out. It's underneath the 8 MA. Not yet. Not ready, didn't turn up, and plus we may have some more downside next week. So that's going to maybe just hold these down, okay? Not necessarily that everything's going to come down too much more, you know, especially the strong names, pltr, for example. Let's see if I get, I'm going to put a board on here. Yes. So we have the abandoned baby move. That's what they call that one. The abandoned baby. It's an island right here. Just a single candle here, reversal. But we stopped right at the 8 of May. This one, that could be wave one. And we'll have to come back down for a wave two. And I'm sure that's going to coincide with the market headed to the downside. Okay, so just know that these are bullish charts, but they have to oscillate to the upside. They're just not going to go straight up. And the rocket, same thing, stopped at the 8 MA. We're waiting for that one to really move. We got earnings coming up. We have huya. huya came right back to this long-term inverse head and shoulders. This one, we are looking for a big move. We did stop right at the 8MA. As long as the market holds up, and as soon as the market starts turning, this is going to be one of our favorites. Huya. Big C. Big C, we're not sure that's going to be ready, but look at the MACD right at support area. We just need to get that to curl up. So in order to work that off, we're going to hit this support. We got the double support here. Maybe it comes to make some sort of inverse head and shoulders, and then off to the races we go. That's going to take some time with Big C. So if you like this information, please hit that like button. Oh, by the way, we have earnings coming out for Big C as well. Hit the notification so you can get these every morning, every night, and on the weekend. We'll get you some trade ideas coming into Monday. And also subscribe. Thanks, guys, for joining us here at Options Tenor. Have a good weekend.